What would Ted Nelson think about Her? Her. It's a sci-fi movie set in a world where technology is automated and voice activated. You have your emails read to you and walk around with an earbud in almost all the time. The first AI is developed and can be placed on a computer. The AI grows and interacts with the owners. In the movie, a man interacts with his female AI, ultimately falling in love with her. Ted Nelson is a technology pioneer that is actually a philosopher. Born in 1937, Nelson would eventually gain his Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy before moving on to begin a master's program in sociology at Harvard. It was after he had enrolled in a computer course for the humanities that he was, quote, struck by a vision of what could be, unquote. It was for his term project that he would first attempt his idea, coming up with a software that would allow writers to revise, compare, and undo their work easily. This idea ultimately failed as word processing wasn't a thing yet, but 5 years later he would present a paper to the ACM, or the Association of Computing Machinery. It was around this time that he would coin the term hypertext. He eventually pursued his dream through a still unfinished software framework called Xanadu. Nelson is known as a controversial figure, a radical that opposes authority and tradition. Now that we have introduced the movie and the technology pioneer, let's explore some questions surrounding both of them. What would your technology pioneer think about Her? Nelson would find it fascinating. Because he is first and foremost a philosopher, I believe he would look for different motifs throughout the movie that would show this to be within the realm of possibility. Because he is a dreamer of ideals, things that make society bigger and better than what we are, he would possibly even attempt to make this future a reality. How successful his attempts would be is debatable because of his prior unsuccessful endeavors. Because he is seen as a radical, a person who confronts society rather than go with it, I believe that he would do his best to see the ideal come to fruition. Would they think of this an inevitable future, or would they dismiss it as science fiction? I believe that Nelson would think of this as an inevitable future. Nelson may be a technological pioneer, but he is first and foremost a philosopher. He is just a philosopher with a dream. It wouldn't seem too far out of the realm of impossible that a person would fall in love with an AI system, specifically one that is made to know and understand them, and grow through them. Nelson is also a dreamer and would see this as an opportunity for technology to further grow. What do you think of the interface metaphor of Her? I think that the interface metaphor of Her has to do with the theme of loneliness. As people, we crave touch and connection with one another. If we feel we aren't able to find that connection with real people, then we begin to feel that real connection with things that are intangible in a way. We feel less lonely with ideas and ideals, or with the technology around us, especially in the case of AI. There were also metaphors with the ads that were portrayed throughout. One of the most powerful interface interactions had to be about halfway through the movie when the main character, Theodore, was struggling with his relationship to the AI. He was sitting in front of a screen display and an owl swooped down to grab its prey, making it look like it was reaching for him. What interface systems today are leading us in the direction of Her? I think that one of the most powerful interface that is leading us in the direction of Her is Siri or Bixby or Google. The voices that are on our phones that allow us to interact with our phones verbally. If someone were to eventually create a system where AI could be applied to these things, then we would essentially have Her in real life. We are already much closer than some may think to this movie becoming reality. Do you think it is a desirable future for human technology interface? I don't. Not because of the fact that AI could potentially take over the world, and they honestly could, given that it is unlikely that we are able to create programming that would be able to simulate human emotions, as emotions are extremely volatile, and even if we did, the AI might decide to kick it. Rather just because it's undesirable, and we are already so unconnected from our world. We are the most connected than we have ever been before, yet technology can often stand between us and the very real emotions and life that run outside of us. AI would come even farther between that. Like when Theodore officially divorced his ex-wife, she confronts him about not being able to handle real emotions. While she herself wasn't perfect, I think she made a good point. What are the pros and cons of the Her future? Pros: better technology means better healthcare, and better overall lifestyle. Probably. There's also the pro of what we could learn from this AI. Growth of even more technology and knowledge of the world itself. However, when you create a program and give it the internet to search, you risk much. Hacking abilities could render our government useless or could cripple the economy and our military. While you are watching Her, note the use of digital art in public spaces as part of the setting for the not-too-distant future. Have you seen such public art in your travels and experiences? Art is everywhere. It is human expression. The art in this was interesting, and I have seen things like it in my experience. Art is the way that humans allow creativity explode, and people interpret it different. Different forms of art are becoming more acceptable all the time, and I believe that this will continue to be so. Thanks for watching.